year review. No. Anyways, what's up, guys? LeopoldTheBrave here, and welcome to my yearly, annual, the year in review video that I always do at the beginning of each year, where I basically go over everything that happened in my life or online or just around the world in general throughout the past year. But not only are we on a new year, we're also on a new decade. And no, I'm not going to make a decade retrospective either because that's too much and I barely remember what happened last week. How am I going to remember what happened over the entire past decade? But anyways, in real life, nothing too interesting or fascinating has gone on. There were some nice events that occurred, but mostly it was a bunch of low lows. I haven't had any high highs this year. So it's just been average and occasionally terrible. One of the things is that if you watched my year in review last year, you know that I used to work at IHOP as a dishwasher, and this May, or the May of 2019, whatever, I quit the job because, well, I didn't even quit the job. I was kind of forced to leave because a new manager came, and she did not exactly treat me well. She sort of took advantage of the fact that I'm disabled and can't see well. So I just kind of got mistreated because of that and taken advantage of. So my parents actually pretty much quit the job for me because they didn't want me to be treated like that. I would have bared through it as long as I could, but they sort of just said nope and yanked me right out of it. So right now I'm looking for a new job because it's been so long. I need another job. But it's also been a struggle because my stomach issues from the past couple of years have persisted and continued to be an issue. I got a couple more surgeries this year. They're like minor non-invasive surgeries. Basically, they stick a tube down my throat and do the stuff from that. They don't have to cut me open or anything. But they may have to do that soon. Oh boy. Because the thing is, if I keep getting these surgeries done, scar tissues is going to keep building up around the area that they're fixing, which will cause more problems later on down the road. So it'd be much better for me to do like the permanent solution surgery, which involves actually, you know, making incisions and stuff. So I may be doing that very soon to get the permanent solution done so it doesn't cause issues later on in life. Just get it done, get it out of the way, all fixed up, get the big thing done, rather than continuing doing the smaller things that creates a bigger problem down the road. Another low for this year is that I was also hoping to be able to go back to college. I was aiming to go back this fall, do classes in like digital media, editing, all that cool stuff, art, voiceover. They had classes for that at the place I wanted to go to, but we just couldn't make it work because obviously I can't see very well, so I can't drive. So getting people to take me would be a bit tricky, especially since we live out in the middle of nowhere, so there's no one too close by that we know that would be able to take me. So yeah, traveling to and from the place is a bit of an issue. Maybe when my brother gets his driver's license, he can take me whenever he goes to work or something. So yeah, that's another low. Online has been a different story, however. Unfortunately, because of my medical issues, like, I have acid reflux as well with all my stomach problems, so that kind of messes up some stuff too. Voiceover and voice acting has been pretty difficult for me like the past year and a half, so that stuff is kind of on hold for now until it gets all better. But on the YouTube side of things, that's been really neat. The year started off absolutely awful. Like, my subscriber count had like dropped so low. I was getting like less than 30 subscribers a month, which is really low for my channel. But then all of a sudden I started making content about Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel because that game was on its way out, so I started making content around that and people really liked that. I started getting like over 1,000 subs per month, which is like the most my channel has ever gotten at once. So I went from the smallest amount my channel has earned since it started to the biggest amount it's ever gotten since it started. So for my channel growth, I also had really high highs and really low lows because towards the end of the year, the momentum I was getting from those Crash videos just suddenly stopped, just like halted. It didn't slowly decrease, it was like an instant halt. And not only that, but around that time, YouTube also did this thing where they cut out like dead accounts or inactive accounts or accounts that had been closed. So combined with that halted momentum, I went so low that I got only 8 subscribers a month at one point. But it started to pick back up again in December, so let's see if I can keep the momentum this time without it just halting again. Since medical issues have caused me to have problems with my voiceover stuff, And since I've also been struggling to find another job or get back into college, I have understandably had a ton of free time on my hands, which did allow me to get better at certain other areas that I wanted to get better in, like my art. I actually recently bought a super huge tablet with an actual screen, because before I just had one that was like all black and it was just a touchpad. You couldn't actually see what you were drawing unless you looked up at the monitor. But now I have a tablet with its own screen so I can actually see what I'm doing, and I think that has helped me improve with my art a whole ton. And learning new art stuff and getting better at art has helped me connect with my art friends more, and that's another exciting thing I want to talk about. In 2019, my New Year's resolution was to make some new friends, because normally I am super duper anxious, even online, and it was making me just be super quiet overall, and non-social or just awkward to be around. Like, it was so bad that getting anxious online would actually affect me physically, just like anxiety in real life does. So getting through all that was really tough, and while I don't think I've gotten over it completely, I did take a huge step, and I'm very proud of myself because I met a ton of amazing friends. So my resolution for this year is to get to know these friends a bit more, just learn to communicate now that I've learned to introduce myself. I'm chipping away at it slowly, like one piece at a time, taking it slow, but I'm making progress, baby steps, gonna turn into kid steps, gonna turn into teenager steps, gonna turn into grown-up steps, then gonna turn into old man with dusty toots steps. Yeah, so I think that's about everything there is to say about me and what went on with me this year. So there wasn't that much, but now let's talk about media and movies. Like I've said many times, animated movies tend to be my favorite, and this year there weren't that many that surprised me or interested me. How to Train Your Dragon 3 was a really good one, but I don't think it was quite as good as the previous two. While the stakes did seem a bit higher, they didn't feel higher, and the final battle was kind of disappointing compared to the previous two because there was no giant dragon, and it didn't feel like there was too much tension or danger. I'm gonna try not to get into spoilers, but like, when Hiccup supposedly sacrificed himself and fell into the lake with the villain, it didn't really give off that same on-the-edge-of-your-seat energy that the first movie did when, like, the Red Death crashed and exploded and Hiccup was trying to outrun the flames and stuff. It didn't give off that same rush. And that's another thing, the villain. I don't even remember his name. I remember the Red Death Dragon. It wasn't even said in the movie. You had to find out some other way what that giant dragon was called. So some big, giant, nameless dragon from the first movie was a lot more memorable than the villain that got more screen time than pretty much any other villain in the series so far from the third movie. And can we talk about the whole Light Fury thing? That is such merch bait, I can't even bear it. Like, that was clearly made just to sell toys to girls, because it's a girl toothless, yay! But overall, I did still think it was a good movie. The animation was absolutely gorgeous as always, and the story was really good, and I thought the finale was really well done, with like, Hiccup meeting or reuniting with Toothless years later and introducing his kids to them. I thought that was really cool. The animation was nice, I already said that. It just had a weak villain. It didn't feel as intense as the previous two, and I just did not like the Toothless gets a girlfriend part. I would have liked it if they did it right, but they clearly just made her to sell toys. It's just a white Toothless. I missed out on the Lego Movie 2. I actually need to go watch that one because I was interested in it, and I have no clue why I haven't seen it yet. It just sort of disappeared from my mind. I actually might go watch it after recording this. But Toy Story 4 was bad. All the characters you love do nothing. They threw in a bunch of characters that you're not gonna care about and don't have any personality at all, like those stuffed animals or that doll villain thing. Forky wasn't as important or interesting as they made him out to be in the trailers. And they made Buzz incredibly stupid with his one-off inner voice joke that they kept going on with the entire movie. It just was really, They also ruined Bo Peep and made her really boring. They made her into a super generic strong woman that does all the things Jessie should be doing, except Bo does it without any personality whatsoever. I liked how fun and enthusiastic and wacky Jessie was, and I liked her little quirk about being claustrophobic. It made her a super interesting character, but because Bo comes in doing all the things she should be doing, Jessie now has nothing to do, so she just sits in the RV the whole movie. Also, the beginning of the movie completely undermines and destroys the importance of Toy Story 3's ending. Remember how big of a deal Andy made Woody out to be, and how it seemed like Bonnie understood how important this cowboy was? Yeah, she forgets him like almost instantly in the fourth movie, even stepping on his head. Frozen 2 pretty much had the exact same problems Toy Story 4 had. I did think it was a little better because I did like the songs in it, and I enjoyed the humor and new characters it threw in a little bit more, but overall it felt completely the same. They even Buzz Lightyear'd Kristoff. He was reduced to a joke and pretty much disappeared for a huge chunk of the movie. So yeah, overall this year in animated movies was kinda eh. Dragon Ball Super Broly was really cool though. As for video games this year, you'll just have to wait for another upcoming video where I talk about my favorite games that I played in 2019. Not specifically games that came out in 2019, just games I played for the first time in 2019. I think this is just about the end of the year review though. It's probably the shortest one yet because I learned how to say things that I wanted to in a more compact form. Hopefully. I think. Maybe I'll improve next year and it'll be even shorter and less stuttery or repeaty or slip-uppy with my words. Like right there when I tried to make up things to say. Oh boy. Anyways, see you guys. Let's figure out how 2020 goes. Oh, I'm falling apart now. Leopold the Brave out.